A consumer magazine surveyed people who had sought a psychologist's help with a personal problem. Okay, so there were some people, they went to a psychologist, they said, help me with this problem. And then a consumer magazine surveyed them. Well, it already sounds a little shady. It's not like researchers. It's like Time magazine. Oh, let's do our own research. Of those responding who had received treatment for 6 months or less, 20% claimed that the treatment made things a lot better. Ooh, only 20%? What did the other 80% have to say? Well, I guess they said it made things a lot better. Maybe the 80% said it made things better. So I kind of took that as a big negative, but maybe it's not a big negative because a lot better is kind of a strong endorsement, right? Maybe others just gave a lukewarm endorsement or maybe they hated it. I don't know. Of those responding who had received longer treatment, 36% claimed that the treatment made things a lot better. Okay, so the percentage of people who were happy with the treatment went up if they had gotten the treatment longer. Therefore, psychological treatment lasting more than 6 months is more effective than shorter term treatment. Okay, certainly possible. As with so many conclusions on the LSAT, it could be true, but is this proven? That's the standard. And I would say no for several reasons. The first problem that comes to my mind is the conclusion is saying that the longer treatment is more effective. More effective. All we know is that these people claimed that it made things a lot better. There's a difference between perception and actual results. Okay, so that's one problem. Second problem is that this study wasn't conducted very well because this argument is assuming that the length of time is what caused people to have better success. That's certainly possible. It's certainly possible that doing things for longer makes it better. But it's also possible that the length of time that people spent doing the therapy is a result of the fact that it was successful, right? Like maybe the fact that you like your therapist is why you keep going to them. So it's not surprising to me that the percentage of people who are happy in long-term therapy goes up because the people who are unhappy probably left early. So using that logic, we could survey all those who have been here at the Demon for a long time and ask them what they think of the Demon and then say, oh, well, therefore, it must be a great product. They've stuck around for a while, right? So there's probably something about it that they like more so than people who left earlier, right? Anyways, those are two problems I saw. If you saw any other problems, I'm sure there could be them, but that's enough for me right now. I read the passage. I think I understand it. I read the, then I took in step 2 time to evaluate whether I think the conclusion is proven or not. Sharon, you said it is a great product. Well, thank you. Okay, great. Anyways, question. Which one of the following, if true, most seriously weakens the argument? Okay, going after any of those two problems would be a good answer. A, of the respondents who had received treatment for longer than 6 months, 10% said that treatment made things worse. Okay, that's one thing we never talked about in this argument is what did the other respondents think? Were they neutral? Did they hate it? The problem with answer choice A is it tells me that 10% thought it made things worse. Okay, but what was the percentage for those who did less than 6 months? This is a really incomplete piece of information. Okay, B. Patients who had received treatment for longer than 6 months were more likely to respond to the survey than those who had received treatment for a shorter time. Okay, they were more likely to respond. Nice. But all that it doesn't change the percentages, right? It just means that there were more participants, but does that mean that they're more likely to respond positively or more likely to respond negatively? It doesn't tell you. It just tells you that the number of respondents is going to be greater. But why? And how? I mean, how are they going to respond? And so since I can't predict that, I can't see if that would explain why the percentage was higher or lower. Lex, you have a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the thing that I was attacking in the argument to prove that it was weak was the fact that it wasn't long enough. Like, first of all, it's a really shitty sample. Obviously it's not a good survey that they were conducting. So what my thought was in choosing that is that you don't have enough. Like, it weakens it because you don't have enough evidence. Basically, that's what I was going.
Are you saying that the people who had 6 months or fewer, there wasn't enough of them to get data?
There just wasn't enough. Like, I was really.
Wait, hold on, Lex. All B says is that people who were getting treatment for 6 months or longer were more likely to respond. So there was presumably, actually, I don't even know if there's more responses because there might be fewer patients who are 6 months or longer, right? But it just means that they were more likely to participate. That doesn't mean, though, that the other ones were not likely to participate. They're just less likely to participate. They could still be a ton of participation.
These questions just kill me. Like, I'm trying. I just gotta keep practicing.
Yeah, you gotta keep practicing, and that's okay. And I want you to understand what's going on here, because what you're doing is you're taking information and you're reading more into it than is actually there, right? Like, if I say that I'm faster than Joe, well, we might conclude that Joe is slow or that I'm fast, but actually both of those things could be totally bogus. Maybe we're both just slow as fuck, or maybe we're both extraordinarily fast. It's just that I'm like a half second faster than Joe, right? So we have to really zoom in on, okay, what is being said here concretely, and what is also not being said here? What do I not know? Because if you impose that on the answer choice, then it's easier to knock it out, even though actually that's not even what it said. Okay, yeah, Radina, go ahead.
So just to make sure, so I got rid of B because it never really touched on the conclusion, which is it was more effective than short-term treatment. Just because they responded to the survey doesn't mean that it was more or less effective. Like, that's why I got rid of B.
Yeah, 100%. We don't know how it changes the results, right? Like, if more people respond, okay, well, are the percentages going to change? That's all.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Sunil. Or how do you say your name? Sorry, is it Sunil?
No, you got it.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Hey.
But don't we know that because the 36% claim that it made things better, that the people who responded are saying that it's better?
We know that a higher ratio of those people are responding, but we don't know how.
But it's saying 36% said that it made things better. I got tripped up on B because
yes,
if more people are replying, then aren't they more likely to fall in that 36% group?
Well, it's true that this second group has a, what is it? It's got a higher participation rate. It's got a higher participation rate, right?
More of them would be likely to say, hey, it was...
And more of them say it's good, but we don't know why. Is that because more of them participated? See, what you have to think about, if you say that more of them participated, we want to know something about those additional participants. Like if it said that younger people were more likely to participate, then you're like, oh, so the demographic is like changing. All I know is that the sample size has gotten bigger. And I know what you're saying. It does say 30% claim that the treatment made things a lot better. But the question is, why? Is that because the sample size got bigger? Or is that because...
Hey, from the short-term treatments, so no one responded, and everybody was
That's an assumption you're making, right? You're saying, oh, okay, well, they were more likely to respond because it went well for them. But the reverse could also be true. They were more likely to respond because things actually were shitty for them. Like you're assuming what you're trying to prove.
Okay.
I don't. I wish I could explain this better. Eric, Abigail, maybe. Sunil, I don't know if this is clicking for you.
When you go over C, I have another question.
Okay. We'll keep going. So C, patients who feel they're doing well in treatment tend to remain in treatment. Okay. Oh, this is the problem. Actually, I think I was saying, while those who are doing poorly tend to quit earlier. Okay. So what this is saying is that it's the treatment's success which is causing the time frame to change, right? So that's why it's the treatment itself. It's whether the treatment is doing well or not that gets people to stay in it longer, not the fact that it's longer that makes the treatment more successful. And that was the conclusion. Therefore, psychological treatment lasting more than 6 months is more effective than shorter term treatment. No, it's not the fact that it's lasting longer that's making it more effective. It's the fact that it's more effective that's making it last longer.
I was thinking that C proved his argument because it's saying, hey, it's like you're staying in for 6 months because it's getting better, and so that's. I thought that was actually proving their argument that the longer one, they're staying in the treatment and they're staying for longer and they're staying for longer and finally they get to 6 months and they're feeling better. I thought actually C proved it.
So do you still feel that way?
I'm seeing what you're saying. I'm seeing what you're saying.
Okay.
And I appreciate what you do, man. I like everything you do, man.
Oh yeah, no worries. I just want to make sure you understand. So try to explain it to yourself or to someone else to a point where you can convince them 100%. And then that will be a good indicator that we're seeing the same problem here. Anyways, Rory, go ahead.
Hey, yeah, I just felt my outside knowledge from like stats class and surveys and samples like come into my head. So stupid now that I look back on it. But I just like, how do you stop your outside knowledge that you have from different topics come in? Because I was like, oh, a problem with the sample size, perfect. But then it wasn't the.
Well, no, I think that outside knowledge is good because you can't have too small of a survey size. But so the real problem here isn't your outside knowledge, it's misinterpreting what the answers are saying. Did you think that answer choice B was saying that the survey size was too small?
Not really. I thought it was just saying that there was bias in the results because more people from the 6 month and longer group responded, but then that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Okay. So again, it's not your outside knowledge because your outside knowledge is right. It's more your understanding of what B is actually saying. I hope that helps. The outside knowledge is good. Okay, cool. Thank you, everyone. Let's pause.